listening to Deep Talk, and I'm your host, Vasavi Kumar. And right now you're tuned into KCMO Talk Radio 710, and we're also on 103.7 FM. So you get to hear us in two places. So guys, I am now officially 30. I just turned 30 on Friday. And I have to say, I woke up and I felt different. I swear to God, I really just felt different. I've been told that there is a certain type of freedom and liberation that comes about when you get into your 30s. And let me just tell you, it has been a long time coming. And it didn't happen overnight that I had this sense of just freedom to be me. But I feel like I had spent so much of my life trying to look good or avoid looking bad, saying the right thing, doing the right thing, and never wanting to rock the boat or say how I truly feel. And the past year has been amazing because I've given myself the permission to be me. And there's comfort in simply being me. So I want to ask you, who are you? Who are you without the labels, the judgments, the limiting beliefs, your past, that mask that you're wearing? Who are you? And I want you to think about this, and I'm going to tell you about a special program that I have coming up, and I really want you to be a part of. So last week, we spoke to my fabulous coach, Susie Carter, about the 10 steps to financial abundance and her story about going from bootstrap to big time. It was such a powerful story, and it truly shows that it doesn't matter where you came from. It really doesn't. You've been equipped with everything you need to do and be anything that you desire. You just have to believe and shift your mindset from I can't to hell yeah, I can and I will. And if this is resonating with you, like, oh my God, this is totally resonating with me. This is me. I need to move forward in my life. Then you need to be a part of my Source of Your Success coaching program. We're in the process of launching and putting together all the amazing content. So visit www.sourceofyoursuccess.com to learn a little bit and sign up for updates as they come along. So today, my guest is probably the best birthday gift I could have asked for. Don Miguel Ruiz is the author of the New York Times bestselling book, The 4 Agreements. I read this book every year. I read this book every year to remind myself of these 4 simple, practical agreements that I absolutely need to make with myself on a daily basis. So when we get back, we're going to be talking to the amazing Don Miguel Ruiz. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to Deep Talk on KCMO Talk Radio 710 AM and 103.7 FM.
KCMO Talk Radio 710, now on FM at 103.7. Hear Dave Ramsey at his new time, weekdays 9 to 11.
She said, "You Dave Ramsey people are like a crazy cult." Yeah, they're all shaving their heads so they look like me. It's a cult. It's a cult. Yes, yes. Oh, I'm sorry. It just doesn't meet the guidelines of a cult.
The Dave Ramsey Show on KCMO Talk Radio 710 and now 103.7 FM. This is Kansas City's talk station, KCMO Talk Radio 710 and now 103.7 FM.
Suburban Lawn and Garden, growing with you.
Start something beautiful at Suburban Lawn and Garden, where you can choose from acres of beautiful trees, evergreens, and flowering shrubs, most grown on our own local farms and all ready to thrive in your yard. You'll enjoy strolling the paved pathways at our row location or driving a golf cart through our 135th and Warnell Nursery and our newest nursery just off K7 Highway in Lenexa. Choose a beautiful pink or white flowering crab tree. These new and improved varieties have fragrant blossoms in spring and tiny red long-lasting berries in fall. For a limited time, selected crab trees and lots of other flowering trees are sale priced. Sale trees still carry Suburban's 2-year guarantee, and delivery and planting are available. Start something beautiful today at Suburban Lawn and Garden, 105th and Row, or choose larger trees at 135th and Warnell, or our newest nursery in Lenexa at K7 and Prairie Star Parkway.
Suburban Lawn and Garden, growing with you.
Who are you? What makes you tick? What makes your heart race? I want to know. You see, my purpose is to support you on your journey. My name is Vasavi Kumar, and I specialize in transformational coaching and speaking. Let's set up your 60-minute coaching session today. Call me at 913-951-1764. That's 913-951-1764.
When it comes to your health care, who's in your corner? Who's ready to fight to get you affordable coverage and peace of mind? Susan Jacobs of Health Insurance in Kansas City is passionate about helping you make informed decisions so you can protect your healthcare needs now and in the future. It's a local company that works with dozens of local and national healthcare carriers, including prescription drug coverage and Medicare supplemental insurance. They do the legwork so you don't have to. Her years of experience have given her the resources and the expertise to research the carriers to find the right healthcare plans for her clients, individual plans, family plans, and short-term medical plans. With Health Insurance in Kansas City, you get the 4 Ps. Positive results with premium carriers and premium care without the premium rates. Keep the upper hand when it comes to your health coverage. Call Susan Jacobs at 913-322-1972. Online at healthinsuranceInKansasCity.com.
Vasavi Kumar knows one thing for sure. She is no expert. Instead, she embodies and radiates acceptance, vulnerability, hope, and love, drawing from a lifetime of awareness and the primal understanding that at our very core, we crave connection and truth. Vasavi knows that by sharing her authentic self, she creates a safe place for others to not only discover, but speak their own truth. Knowing that the relationships we seek begin first within, Vasavi delivers presentations that not only uplift and inspire, but encourage each attendee to dig deep, cast away doubt, and claim the truly radiant self they've too often buried under layers of expectations, disappointments, and self-criticism. To learn more about how Vasavi can support you in getting you out of your own way, visit her at vasavikumar.com or give her a call at 913-951-1764 today. vasavikumar.com. 913-951-1764.
You own or operate a business. You know you need to advertise, but you have questions. You aren't sure where to turn. There's a free resource that can help. CumulusRadio.com. CumulusRadio.com has the answers that will help you decide where to advertise, what to say, and how to say it. This free resource has helped thousands of business owners and operators make the right choices, and it can help you find your answers too. CumulusRadio.com. You know your business. We know marketing. CumulusRadio.com.
If information is power, power up your radio. KCMO Talk Radio 710 and now 103.7 FM.
Welcome back. You're listening to Deep Talk on KCMO Talk Radio 710 AM and now 103.7 FM. If you are getting pumped by everything that you've been hearing on Deep Talk, then you need to sign up for the Source of Your Success coaching program. So go to sourceofyoursuccess.com and sign up to receive more information. So my guest today, Don Miguel Ruiz, is a beautiful human being. He's the author of The 4 Agreements, which was a New York Times bestseller for more than 7 years. And it was also the 36th best-selling book of the decade. He has other books, which I have read all of them, and I love them. The Mastery of Love, The Voice of Knowledge, Prayers, Beyond Fear, and The Fifth Agreement, which he actually wrote with his son, Don Jose. And all of his books have been international bestsellers. And, you know, I've read a lot of personal growth books, but every so often I come across a book that just sits with me and goes with me wherever I go. And that, for me, was The 4 Agreements. And I am so happy to have Don Miguel on the show today. So thank you so much, Don Miguel, for being here today.
It's a great pleasure for me to be with you and to all your audience.
Oh, thank you. And I got to say, you know, first of all, when I read your book a few years ago, I felt like it was my book, like you wrote it for me. And when I finished reading the book and I got through the 4 agreements, I was convinced that if I applied all of these agreements, I could truly change my life. And I want to ask you, first of all, how come I felt that way? And second of all, what is it about these specific 4 agreements that has rang so true and so deep for so many people?
Well, this is extremely simple. And the reason is because every single human, it doesn't matter whatever we were born, we have the same kind of program. That program, we have it since the moment of our conception. And in that program, it will direct us exactly of what we really are. It's like buying a little book who say how to build a human step by step. And it's for 9 months that it create every single piece of our body, a whole biological machine that is born and keep growing. Then, when we have around 3-4 years old, we start learning, we start accumulating knowledge. But we all have the same integrity. We all are exactly the same. Then these simple 4 agreements, it comes directly from that program that make us what we are, that make us humans. The challenge was to put it in words in a way that every single one, for the 7 billion humans who live in this planet Earth, we recognize our own integrity. We recognize about what we really are. And simple 4 agreements really help us to recover that integrity that we really never lose, but we forget about that. Then we create so many agreements, millions of agreements.
Yes. It's so true, though, when you said, we're all the same. And that's probably why so many people have loved your books and it has totally resonated with them, because at the core, we're all the same. But it's because of that programming that we forget about who we really are. And what I love about your book is that you speak to the core of us.
And when you read these 4 agreements, it's really a reflection. It reflects what you really are. It's like I say a little before, it was a challenge to put it in words in a way that everyone can understand it and apply it, from people who hardly went to school to the most intelligent people in the planet Earth. Then when you see this book, you find out that it's really not important where we was born. It's not important what language that we speak. It's not important what religion that we follow, because it's exactly the same for everyone. That's why it's been translated in so many different languages. It's because it's speaking to every single human. It's a reflection. It's really talking about yourself. It's a reminder that you was born completely free. Free to be exactly what you are. You don't need to be anybody else.
Okay, so you start off by saying, and this, just the first part alone, even before you get into the 4 agreements, I was blown away. You start off by saying that everything we see and hear is just a dream, that everything is a dream. And, coming from a Hindu background, in our scriptures, we say that everything is Maya or illusion. So I really related to what you were saying about everything being a dream. But can you share with the listeners about this concept of everything being a dream, because it is so profound and it's so key?
Well, this is very, very simple. What we perceive is light. We don't perceive objects. We perceive light, and that light is being reflected by every single object. And from there, they go directly into our eyes and project the image of all those objects. It's like when we see a mirror. Beforehand, we know that everything that is inside the mirror is not real. If we want to touch it, we only will touch the surface of that mirror. And we know right away that everything that is inside the mirror is just an illusion, it's just images. And everything that is outside of the mirror is real because we can touch it. The same thing happened with our eyes and, of course, with our brain. Our eyes is just like that mirror. Then everything that is inside the eyes is exactly like what is inside the mirror. What we see is light, and light is projecting all those objects. Then is image, imagination, dream. The only difference between our eyes and the mirror on the wall is that behind the eyes there is a brain. And behind the mirror on the wall there is nothing. And all the images that we see inside the mirror is exactly what we see inside our brain. The difference is that with our knowledge, we distort everything. We try to explain what we perceive. Because we can see a chair, but once that we see the chair, we right away start qualifying the chair. We can say it's a beautiful chair, it's a nice chair, it's a big chair, it's a small chair, etc. We qualify everything right away. Then we start distorting everything according of what we believe, according of our knowledge, according to all the concepts that we have in our mind. Then this is how the mind is created, with knowledge distorting what we perceive. Then it's so obvious to see that we are dreaming all the time. We dream when the brain is awake, as well as we dream when the brain is sleeping. When the brain is awake, what keeps us in the present moment is the attention that we are perceiving in this moment. But if our attention is not focused on what we're perceiving, we start what we call daydreaming. And we start using our imagination in all those different possibilities. But as soon as we focus the attention in anything that is around us, we come back right away in that present. And it's not that that we let the present go, no. It's that our attention is focused on something else, and mainly in our imagination. And this is something really beautiful and powerful. Because if we can see everything that we humans create first exists in our imagination, and with the action we make it real, then what we are wearing, our car, telephone, airplanes, everything that we can perceive that is created by humans first exists in our imagination, and with the action we make it real. Then the same thing is with our dreams. Our dreams can be real if we have enough discipline, enough will to make it real, because we have the ability to transform what already exists in something new for us. Thus, we create our own personal reality also. It's the story about ourselves, what we believe about ourselves, and everything that we perceive. The way we distort everything is made in a way that it really is a masterpiece of art. Then when we have that awareness, we start seeing everything around the eyes of an artist. And as an artist, we see the beauty. We don't qualify it really. Then as soon as we start focusing on the beauty, we can see how wonderful everything could be if we don't focus our attention on all those judgments and all those gossipings and all the suffering.
Yeah, and guys, you're listening to Deep Talk on KCMO Talk Radio 710, and also you can listen to us on 103.7 FM, and we are talking to New York Times bestselling author Don Miguel Ruiz on his book, The Four Agreements. So, Don Miguel, you talk about being domesticated, and having grown up in an Indian Hindu household, so much of how I was raised and expected to behave was purely based on how my parents wanted me to be perceived by the outside world. And there's safety in conforming. Yet at the end of the day, we suffer. And you said it best, that just being ourselves is the biggest fear of humans.
Yes, and the reason is because we practice exactly the opposite all our life. We learn all these concepts of our society. Society prepares us to be part of that society. And when we were born, all the rules of society was existing already. Then we learn it, we adapt it, we practice, and very soon we start being what we really are. We create an identity because we don't even choose our own name. We don't choose hardly anything.
Well, it actually makes perfect sense, right? So much of our suffering is because we want to be our real selves, but we feel trapped because we feel like we need to be what everyone else wants us to be. So no wonder we suffer.
Then I just hear the question that you made in the beginning to asking, well, what are you? Who are you? And to answer that question is something extremely beautiful, because the only way to answer that question is by using knowledge, by using what we know to justify our existence. That I can say, well, I am a male human being. I can say, well, I'm a medical doctor, I'm a surgeon. I can say, well, I am an author, I'm a chess player, etc., etc. But if I go into the religious point of view, I will say, well, I am a soul, I am a spirit. And if I go into science, I will say, well, I am light, I'm energy. But the truth is that I really don't know what I am. I have no idea, but I am. I'm here. I am alive, and I perceive in everything. You know, it's just like the dog or the cat. They don't know that they're dogs or cats or elephant or any other animal. We call them that way because this is what we learn. That's why we call ourselves humans, because we learn in that way. It doesn't mean that it's true.
So this actually leads me to the first of the 4 agreements. You know, we're surrounded by people everywhere we go. And as humans, we get triggered by other people. Your first agreement is to be impeccable with your word. Now, let me ask you, how is it possible to be impeccable with your word when we get hurt, angry, and feel rejected? How do we practice that first agreement when there are so many external factors that may play a huge role in how we communicate and behave with others?
Well, as I say before, society exists before we was born, and all the rules and all those dramas, they was already there. But as a new living being in this planet, we have a big advantage that we also learn, and that is the word. The word, we use it in order to create a whole story, the story about ourselves. We create our own identity and everything that we believe about ourselves and about everything else. Then if we are impeccable with the word, we use the word to create the greatest story about ourselves.
I love that. So let me ask you, oftentimes we want to get our point across and be validated, right? We want to be right. So what's the measuring stick for us to determine whether or not we're being impeccable with our word? How do we know if we're being impeccable?
Well, once again, this is extremely simple. We are impeccable when we use the word in order to create beauty, in order to create a beautiful story about ourselves. And we are not really responsible for anybody else. We are only responsible for our own creation. Because every single human, they will use the word to create their own reality and the one they live, to create their own world. And in the world that they create, we are only secondary characters. As they are secondary characters in the story that we create, because in the story that we create, we are the main character. Our identity is the main character of our own story. Then, if we are impeccable with the word, we really don't pay that attention in whatever they believe about us, because they're talking about the secondary character in their story. Then if we really believe what they say, then that really will affect us, and we will react emotionally for whatever they do, whatever they say, because we become extremely important that whatever happens around us, it will be because of us. And this is because we are misusing the word. Then if we can see that as an artist, we create our own reality, and the tool to create that reality is the word, we create a whole beautiful story with that word. But we also have to be aware that we are the ones who create the language, because we use the language to create our story.
So simply stated, you know that you're being impeccable with your word when your words create beauty. So if you're speaking from a place of love, then you're being impeccable with your word. If your words are going to cause hate and anger, then you're not being impeccable with your word. And the saying, the truth shall set you free, is one that comes with a huge responsibility. And we're going to talk about that when we get back. You could check out Don Miguel Ruiz, his books, all his speaking events at miguelruiz.com. Go to thesourceofyoursuccess.com to sign up for my coaching program. You're listening to Deep Talk on KCMO Talk Radio 710.
Get out of the routine and start your day with the KCMO Morning Show.
Let me bring in Adam Carolla.
The worst message you can send to a kid or to an adult is you don't have the work ethic. But listen, let me see if I can go down the street and I'll go up the hill and I'll go to the super rich white guy on top of it and I'll see if I can get some of his crap and bring it back down to you, okay? But don't try it on your own. You'll screw that up.
Greg Knapp, mornings 5 to 9 on KCMO Talk Radio 710, now on FM at 103.7.
Fox News Radio, I'm Paul Stevens. Battling over Bain. President Obama's campaign criticizing Mitt Romney's old firm, Bain Capital, for how it handled a steel plant in Kansas City.
In this case, the company did horribly, but the investors did great.
White House advisor Austin Goolsbee, but Republican Congressman Paul Ryan of Wisconsin says that's an unfair comparison.
Mitt Romney was running the Olympics during this time. He wasn't even running Bain during the time period in question. I think the individual, if I'm not mistaken, who was running Bain is a big Obama contributor.
Both appearing on Fox News Sunday. The Lockerbie bomber has died. Fox News confirming the death of Libyan intelligence officer Abdel Basset al-Megrahi. He was convicted in connection with the 1988 Pan Am Flight 103 bombing over Lockerbie, Scotland, that killed 270. His 2009 release from prison because of a cancer diagnosis angered friends and family of many victims. Fox News, we report, you decide.
Your KCMO forecast from KCTV5.
We'll see mostly cloudy skies in the morning hours before gradually clearing this afternoon and evening. Rain chances around much of the area are limited, but we'll watch our southeastern zones for the possibility of a stray shower or storm this afternoon around the vicinity of a cold front. Temperatures will be a bit cooler today, thanks in part to a light northwesterly breeze. Afternoon highs top out in the mid to upper 70s around the listening area. I'm KCTV5 meteorologist Iris Hermosillo.
When you need a new roof, deciding who to call can be a difficult decision. You want a reputable and responsible company, one that will see the job through from the initial call to the day the work is completed. And most importantly, a company that stands behind their work. That, my friends, is Lee's Summit Roofing. I've been recommending them to you for years now. They'll make sure the job is done right every time. Call Lee's Summit Roofing today, 816-554-8585.
When it comes to assisted living, are you going to trust your mom or dad to a giant corporation? Of course not. Hi, this is Frank Curtis. Shawnee Heartland is the boutique community of choice, a community with heart, privately owned and operated since 2000. Log on to ShawneeHeartlandAL.com. Shawnee Heartland Assisted Living. We're not a giant corporation. We're family.
By August of next year, your medical billing and coding methods become critical to the financial success of your practice. That's when America converts to ICD-10, and your coders must be certified in over 140,000 new codes. Certification is time-consuming and costly, and you risk an increase in claim denials. Purpose Billing Services is your billing and coding solution. Their staff is certified and experienced. Contact them for a free quote today, 913-707-8710, or visit them on the web at purposebilling.com. You fix your patients' aches and pains, and they fix yours.
Hi, I'm Jay Farner, president of Quicken Loans. Today's interest rates are the lowest that we've seen in generations. The rate today on a 30-year fixed mortgage is an amazing 3.99%, APR 4.22%. Call us today at 800-QUICKEN. That's 800-QUICKEN. We'll help you keep more of that hard-earned money in your pocket where it belongs. Maybe that's why for the second year in a row, J.D. Power & Associates ranked Quicken Loans highest in customer satisfaction for primary mortgage origination in the United States. And here are just some of the many reasons why. We close many of our loans in 30 days or less, and we provide you with industry-leading online apps designed to guide you through the loan process with speed and ease. Again, today's rate on a 30-year fixed mortgage is an amazing 3.99%, APR 4.22%. So give us a call today at 800-QUICKEN. That's 800-QUICKEN, or visit us at QuickenLoans.com and find out for yourself why we're engineered to amaze.
For J.D. Power and Associates award information, visit jdpower.com. Call us for cost information. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030.
I'm a very bad man. I don't even need to leave my computer, but I could steal your retirement, the equity in your home, even the money in your bank accounts.
Fighting identity theft on your own is nearly impossible. At LifeLock, we offer the most comprehensive identity theft protection available. Try LifeLock service risk-free for 60 days. If you're not convinced, cancel within 60 days of enrollment for a full refund. Call 1-800-440-4894 and use promo code ENROLL60. 1-800-440-4894. See LifeLock.com for details.
KCMO. We don't feed you bull, but we take the issues by the horns. KCMO Talk Radio 710, now on FM at 103.7.
We're back, and you're listening to Deep Talk on KCMO Talk Radio 710 AM and 103.7 FM. So, Don Miguel, I gotta share with you that for a long period of time in my life, and even now, from time to time, I take things personally. But I do, I'm just being honest with you, okay? So, you know, I do see when I'm taking it personally, which obviously with awareness, anything is possible. So, okay. How do I want to set this up? The second agreement is to not take things personally, right? And
exactly.
Yes, and as someone who has bipolar disorder, and it's only been in recent times that I'm open about it, and with that openness comes a huge sense of freedom, right? But I have to tell you that society does not accept people with mental illness and mood disorders, and I still to this day, in 2012, hear people talk about folks with bipolar disorder and refer to them as crazy and psycho. And I've been blessed with tons of support, okay? I am probably one of the most blessed people that I know, but it's hard to stay on your path of truthfulness when there are people around that will judge you. So how do you, well, me, especially me, not take things personally? How do I not take things personally?
Well, like we were saying a little before, you create your own reality.
Mm-hmm.
And in your world, everything is really about you, and everything else, they're just secondary characters that are not real. What you know about whoever is around you is just what you believe about them. They project an image to you, you perceive that image, and you distort it according to what you believe. Well, they do exactly the same thing to you in their story. You're just a secondary character, and they really don't know you. They only believe what they believe about you, and it's completely out of reality. It's not you. And every single person around you do exactly the same thing to you.
That makes total sense. So what you're saying is, if you believe something about yourself already, and if you say that to me, if I believe it, then obviously I'm going to take it personally because I already have that belief.
And that will affect you completely.
Okay, so for example,
yes, because you will accept the judgment and you will agree with them, and you will say, yes, they're right about that. But are they really? Is it really true what they say about you?
No.
Just because you agree, it doesn't mean that it's true. And if you agree, it's because you had that belief even before, and something just reinforced that belief. And if we don't take things personally, that gives us immunity in the interaction that we have with everyone around us.
Isn't it funny, though, how we take all the negative things personally, but if someone gives you a compliment, you want to reject it? You know, like
exactly,
yeah.
Because we judge ourselves and we can say, oh, no, I don't deserve it.
Yes. You know,
we don't agree with the compliment because we believe that we are not, because in the identity that we create, we qualify ourselves in a certain way, and we really believe that this is what we are. But it's not true either. Then, like you see the agreement number 5 that was wrote by my son Jose, he said, be skeptical, but learn to listen, which means don't believe me, don't believe yourself, don't believe anybody else, but learn to listen. Then when you don't believe yourself, you don't have to believe what you're telling to yourself, especially if you say, well, I'm not good enough, I'm not strong enough, I'm not intelligent enough, I never can do it, it's too much for me. When we reject ourselves before anybody else rejects us, it's because we really believe the image that we create about ourselves.
Well, it's true, though, because as long as you're going to believe that, then you're still living in your dream, that dream that you talk about.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to say, I'm so excited that you're here on Deep Talk on KCMO Talk Radio 710 and 103.7 FM. And Don Miguel, I'm going to see you in Chicago because you're going to be at Celebrate Your Life in June.
Yes, it will be great.
Yes, and guys, if you want to go, the website to register for Celebrate Your Life is going to have amazing authors and speakers, and Don Miguel is going to be one of them, and I'm so excited I'm going to actually get to meet you in person. Go to Mishka Productions, MISHKA Productions.com. If you want to get any of Don Miguel's books, go to his website, Miguel, Miguel, Ruiz, Ruiz.com. The Celebrate Your Life is in Chicago, and it's Friday, I think that's the June 9th, that second Friday in June until Sunday. So the turning point in my life, Don Miguel, was 10 years ago. Okay, when I got diagnosed with bipolar disorder. And I remember going to sleep that very night. It was December 2002. And I remember telling myself, it's okay. I'm still perfect as I am. I'm still beautiful as I am. Because on top of having a label and a lifelong diagnosis slapped on me, I had always struggled with weight and maintaining true, genuine friendships, and always felt like I had to be more and do more to be loved. You know, and I've made it a habit to go to sleep every night, reflect on my day and how I treat others and myself. And for a few years after I was diagnosed, you know, I really believed that I was something else based on what other people had told me or based on how other people behaved towards me in childhood and thereafter. That there was something wrong with me inherently, that I wasn't a good person, that I wasn't lovable. And this leads me to the third agreement. Don't make assumptions, because we assume that when people do something or say something, they mean just what we think they mean. So what is the biggest assumption that you think as human beings we make?
Well, the biggest assumption is to believe that they judge us the same way that we judge them and we judge ourselves. This is the biggest assumption that we made. But to talk about this third agreement, don't make assumptions, it will be very interesting to see that it comes from our knowledge. When we were born, we had no knowledge. When society prepared us to be part of society, then we learn all the knowledge that we have. And when we was growing up, something incredible happened in our head. All that knowledge starts speaking with a voice that no one can hear but us, and we call it thinking. And as more we grow up, we go to school, then knowledge keeps growing and growing, and thinking becomes faster and amplified. We can say that very soon it was not just our personal voice that we have in our head, but we have even conversations, complete conversations in our head.
Oh, that's a mitote that you talk about in the book.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Then we create all those thoughts that it becomes like a wild horse that cannot be controlled. And many times we just can't stop thinking, and there's a lot of noise in our head. Then when we stop making assumptions, we create that inner peace also. That is something that we humans have been looking for centuries, for millenniums, to get that inner peace.
How do we get...
In order to create that inner peace, we create so many tricks. We create like a meditation, contemplation, dancing, prayers. We create mantras. We create music. We create whatever stops us to think. Then when we are doing any of those activities, we're not thinking any longer. And we become what we really are. Then the trick is to find a place in between thoughts. That when we are meditating, if we follow thought, then when the thought is ending, we try to stop right there before the next thought comes out. And with practice, that space in between thoughts keep growing and growing and growing until finally we no longer have the need to think. Because we don't need to really interpret everything that we know, everything that we perceive, because we know what we're perceiving. We don't need to tell to ourselves how wonderful we are, how beautiful is the sky, how beautiful is the flower. We know it.
Oh, my God. You know what? Something you just said made me think of my mother. She would always tell me before I go to bed, don't think about anything, just say God's name, or she used to say Om, and just keep focusing. But she said, I want you to focus on the silence in between the Om and the Om. She said, because that is where God exists.
Exactly.
Oh my
That's
God.
the place of creation.
Yes. So, I mean, it's funny because, I really do relate to the horses in my head, kind of like that stampede of thoughts in my head. It's been a curse and a blessing because when you have a lot of thoughts, you become very analytical and you can dig really, really deep, but sometimes you just want to be and not have all that chatter in your head. And it's,
All that chatter in the head is like a war that is happening all the time, that big mythology that we talk about. And for a long time, we used to believe that the conflict that exists in our head, it was between good and evil, or good and bad. Well, this is just the result of the real conflict. It's not the real conflict. The real conflict is between the truth and lies. If we believe in lies, we will be bad in different levels and different ways. But if we believe in truth, we always will be good. Then this real conflict, like I said before, between the truth and lies, that make us easily to understand why the truth will set us free.
So, Don Miguel, you say in the last agreement, to wrap it up, you say in the last agreement to do our best. How does this tie into the other three agreements?
Well, like I will say a little before, the first three agreements exist only in the level of the mind, in the level of the imagination. And everything that exists is when we apply the imagination, when we take the action and we make it real. And that explains everything that we humans create. And by the way, this is my favorite agreement because it's what makes us really create for the rest of humanity, not just for us. By doing always our best, we make our dreams come true.
Well, I love the last agreement too, because that's really where you put everything you've learned into action. You're trying to not take things personally, make assumptions, and be impeccable with your word. And the last agreement, doing our best, that's where you're actually having that out into the world. Just do your best with all of those agreements. Just do it. Just take that action.
We can see that we can have millions of ideas, but if we don't take the action, none of those ideas will become real and will just dissipate in our mind. But if we take the action, we will make it real and we will manifest it, that everyone else also can see our creation. Always do your best, I think, is in many ways is the most important one.
It's definitely the most important one because it's where you're taking the knowledge and the knowing and you're doing something about it. I love that one also.
Yes, because with that we create our legacy that we will give to the next generations that come after us.
Absolutely. Don Miguel, I want to say thank you so much. I was telling our listeners it was my 30th birthday on Friday, and I'm talking to you.
Happy birthday!
Oh, I turned 30, and you know what? I'm so happy that I got to talk to you today. I was saying to my listeners, what an amazing birthday gift to be talking to you live on Sunday, 2 days after my 30th birthday. So thank you so much. And guys, if you're in the Chicago area, I'm going to be driving on that Friday to go see Don Miguel live. It's called Celebrate Your Life. It's in Chicago. It's that second Friday in June until Sunday. Check it out. It's going to be awesome. If you want to get any of Don Miguel's books, go to his website, Miguel Ruiz, RUIZ.com. Don Miguel, thank you so much. I actually got your newest edition. They sent it to me over from Amber Allen. So I just want to say thank you for this beautiful book. Thank you for taking the Sunday, out to be with me here and all my listeners. And, I can't wait to see you in a few weeks in Chicago.
Oh, it's my pleasure, and please give all my love to everyone around you.
I will, Don Miguel. Thank you so much.
And God bless you.
You too. Bye. Guys, you're listening to Deep Talk on KCMO Talk Radio 710 and 103.7 FM. I have goosebumps. That was an amazing conversation with an amazing man. When we get back, we're going to go back over the 4 agreements. I'm going to give you guys some good information, so don't go anywhere.
KCMO Talk Radio 710 and at 103.7 FM, the new home of the Mike Huckabee Show.
By the way, I got to tell you a little Kansas City connection. My son-in-law is from Kansas City, and he and my daughter are any day going to present me with my second grandchild and my first granddaughter. So I got a very special interest in Kansas City as a result of that, and the Kansas side of it, by the way.
Mike Huckabee, weekdays 11 till 2 on KCMO Talk Radio 710 and now 103.7 FM.
Most people list having a roof over your head as one of life's necessities. Make sure your roof is a good one by calling All-American Roofing at 913-345-8000. All-American Roofing will expertly take care of all your roofing and guttering needs. They do tile, slate, and composition, all at affordable prices. So whether you want to re-roof your home or fix that annoying leak, All-American Roofing can help you do it. For a free estimate, call All-American Roofing at 913-345-8000.
By August of next year, your medical billing and coding methods become critical to the financial success of your practice. That's when America converts to ICD-10, and your coders must be certified in over 140,000 new codes. Certification is time-consuming and costly, and you risk an increase in claim denials. Purpose Billing Services is your billing and coding solution. Their staff is certified and experienced. Contact them for a free quote today, 913-707-8710, or visit them on the web at purposebilling.com. You fix your patients' aches and pains, and they fix yours.
This is Sally Field for Save the Children. We've all seen the devastation the hurricanes have wrought. Now imagine how we can make it better. Imagine all the children from the hurricanes feeling safe again.
Imagine all the children back with their families again. Imagine all the children going to school again.
Please help us create lasting change for children here at home and around the world. Call 1-800-SAVE-THE-CHILDREN or visit SaveTheChildren.org.
Imagine we can save the children.
Imagine.
Grandpa!
Hey, there he is. Come on up here and sit down on the porch with me.
I love staying here. How long have you lived here?
A long time. You know, your mother grew up here.
I'm gonna have a house like this when I grow up.
I hope so, buddy. I hope so.
For the first time in generations, the dream of home ownership is being threatened. Realtors, members of the National Association of Realtors, are here to represent you and protect home ownership. Visit houselogic.com/home ownership to learn more.
I knew that a sauna would be relaxing after a long, hard day, but when I started researching saunas, I was surprised. I never knew a sauna from saunasforbetterhealth.com could be so good for me. Go to saunasforbetterhealth.com and see for yourself. Their made-in-USA saunas harness the medical powers of far-infrared waves for remarkable health benefits. It helps remove toxins and actually speeds healing. The only problem at my house? It's a race to see who can get into the sauna first. Start your road to a healthier lifestyle now. saunasforbetterhealth.com.
The kitchen from the 70s.
The hole in the wall.
That orange paint that seemed like a good choice at the time.
All great reasons to call Dalton Brothers Restoration.
Small repairs, framing, decks, remodeling, drywall repairs, and painting, as well as water damage cleanup and more.
Hi, I'm Mike Dalton. Call Dalton Brothers for quality work from a business founded on values of honesty, integrity, and reliability.
Serving Johnson County and the KC area. Dalton Brothers Restoration. Online at DaltonBrosRestoration.com. That's Dalton, BROS Restoration.com.
Hey, I'm inside a car shopper who's comparing new and used cars on Autotrader.com, and a celebration's about to ensue as we get closer to finding the best deal on the perfect car. His head wants something reliable with great gas mileage, but his heart yearns for leather and a big V8. And here we go. Whoa, looks like they both got what they wanted. What a great deal. Now the sparks are really gonna fly. Yep, I'd say he feels pretty good about finding a great deal on a car he loves. Autotrader.com, the ultimate automotive marketplace.
When you listen to other talk stations, you start believing the bias. When you start to believe the bias, you find yourself hanging out in drum circles. Don't occupy public places with your new hippie friends. Listen to KCMO Talk Radio 710 and now 103.7 FM.
Today's deal, Gold's Gym. 2 locations, up to 57% off. Go to sweetjack.com for your new membership to Gold's Gym.
Sweet Jack, now that's a real sweet deal.
Sweetjack.com.
Greg Knapp.
Take the survey right now, KCMOTalkRadio.com. With the new information out on the Trayvon Martin case, what do you think of the guilt or innocence of George Zimmerman? KCMOTalkRadio.com.
Hey, I just met you, and this is crazy, but here's my number, so call me maybe. It's hard to look right.
Hi. guys. We're back, and you've just been listening to Deep Talk on KCMO Talk Radio 710. I just have to get my breath back because I was telling my producer, Tom, about the song, and it's such a teeny bopper song, and then he just surprised me playing with it. So I can't really talk right now. But I'm back. So I want to say thank you again to my fabulous guest, Don Miguel Ruiz, the author of The 4 Agreements. And just to recap, okay, because it is really simple. And it's 4 agreements that I think we all need to practice with ourselves. The first is to be impeccable with your word. And Don Miguel said it best. He said, you know that you're being impeccable with your word when you're creating beauty with your word. So, in the future, look at how do you feel when you're saying whatever you're saying? Are you saying it from a place of love, or are you saying it from a place of hatred, anger, comparison, jealousy? A lot of times when I need to check what I'm saying and how I'm saying it, especially towards my spouse, it's the easiest to not be impeccable with your spouse because they live with you and they're going to take it from you. I often just stop and just feel how's my body feeling before I say these words. If it feels calm, if it feels expansive, then I know that it's coming from a place of love. But if my entire body is constricted, then I know that what I'm about to say is going to hurt him and probably hurt myself. So number 1, be impeccable with your word. The second agreement is not to take things personally. Because if you're going to take things personally, you're always going to be miserable. I mean, that's just really it. Point blank. People are always going to have their opinions. They're always going to have their judgments about you. So I want you to notice if it's a you-centered universe. For a very long time, I made everything mean that whatever anyone said, it must mean that I did something wrong, that I was bad, that I was, broken. And really when that started to shift is when I kind of took myself out of the equation and I said, wait a minute, this has nothing to do with me. This is their stuff. If someone's in a bad mood and they give me an attitude, that's because they have the issue. It has nothing to do with me. And it will save you a lot of drama and stress and suffering. So that's the second agreement. Don't take things personally. The third agreement is don't make assumptions, because that also has to do with, he was saying that a lot of times we make assumptions just based on things that we think we know. So instead, just take the time to just step back and ask yourself, am I assuming right now? Am I making this up in my head? And that kind of ties into also not to take things personally. So don't assume, because, the saying, when you assume, you make an ass out of you, not me. Okay. And number 4, always do your best. And that's really where you're tying in the first 3 agreements, and just do your best. Whatever you're saying, whatever you're doing, however you're being, just do your best. Next week, my guest is simply amazing. Teresa Stowe is the executive director of the Arts and Recreation Foundation of Overland Park. She recently won the 2012 Kansas City Influential Women Award. She's awesome. What's amazing about Teresa is not the award and how well known she is in Kansas City. It really is her story. And as you all may have probably figured out, Deep Talk is really about taking your story and going to the next level, not allowing that to stop you from moving forward. She's been through a lot in her life, and she's going to be on the show next week live to share her story, so you don't want to miss that. And don't forget to visit sourceofyoursuccess.com. I'm telling you, this program is transformational and will get to the core of who you are, so you can truly figure out who you are, why you're here, why you're meant to be here, what your purpose is, and most importantly, helping you create those actions to move forward. Until next time, you are listening to Deep Talk on KCMO Talk Radio 710 and 103.7. Be kind to yourself.